All right, welcome. Today we are diving deep into a science that explains, well, everything about us. From the DNA that makes you, to the massive ecosystems that keep our entire planet ticking. Yep, we're talking about biology, the instruction manual for life itself.
So, let's kick things off with a little puzzle. What in the world connects a woolly mammoth, the kind sketched on a cave wall thousands of years ago, to the cutting-edge gene therapy that could literally save a life today? The answer? It's biology. And that connection, that incredible journey, is exactly what we're going to explore.
Okay, so first up, the science of life. We have to start with the most basic question of all, right? What is biology anyway?
Well, at its very core, biology is the science of life. And the word itself, it kind of tells the whole story. It comes from two Greek words, bios, which means life, and logos, which means study. So put them together and you get the study of life. It's really that simple, and at the same time, that incredibly profound.
Now, it helps to see where biology fits into the grand scheme of things, Science is this massive, organized body of knowledge. You can almost think of it as having three main pillars. First, you've got physics, which is all about matter and energy. Then there's chemistry, the study of substances. And then there's our focus today, biology, the branch that studies every single living thing, from the tiniest little bacterium to the biggest blue whale.
Next up, we're taking a little trip through time. See, this science wasn't just invented in some modern, shiny lab. No way! Its roots go all the way back to the very dawn of humanity. Let's trace that amazing story.
Think about it. The study of biology really started with our earliest ancestors just trying to survive, right? Figuring out which plants you could eat and which ones you definitely shouldn't. Then you get the ancient Greeks, and they start to make it a formal study. A massive game changer comes along in the 16th century, the microscope. Suddenly, this whole invisible world just opens up. And now, fast forward to today, we're doing unbelievable things like mapping entire genomes. What a ride it's been.
And this right here, this is a perfect illustration of that starting point. These incredible drawings of animals on cave walls. They're not just art. In a way, they are the world's very first biological records. It shows our ancestors were carefully observing and trying to understand the living world around them, all driven by that most basic need, just to survive.
So, the ancient Greeks took that basic human curiosity and really turned it into a formal science. You had incredible minds like Aristotle, who was the first to really study animals in detail. They call him the father of biology for a reason. Then his student, Theophrastus, did the same thing but for plants. And, of course, there's Hippocrates, who laid the groundwork for the science of healing, earning him the title Father of Medicine. These three, they really built the foundation for everything that came after.
Okay, moving on to our next section, the great tree of biology. I love this metaphor. If those ancient Greek thinkers planted the first seeds, then today, biology has grown into this gigantic, sprawling tree of knowledge. So let's go check out some of its main branches. Now, just like any huge tree, this one has a solid core, right? A strong base that holds everything up. We can think of modern biology as having three of these main foundational trunks, and pretty much all other knowledge grows out from them.
And here they are, the big three. You've got botany, which is the deep dive into the amazing world of plants. Then there's zoology, covering the entire animal kingdom. Everything from tiny sea sponges to giant blue whales. And finally, human biology, which, as you can guess, focuses specifically on us. Almost everything in biology can trace its roots back to one of these.
Okay, but this is where it gets really cool. From those three main trunks, the tree just explodes into countless different branches. And each one is a specialized field of study, a deep dive into some specific part of life. Let's just run through a few examples so you can see how incredibly diverse this science really is.
So, for example, are you fascinated by insects? There are over 1 million known species, and probably millions more we haven't even found yet. If so, you'd be studying entomology. That's the science of the creatures that, let's be honest, kind of rule the planet.
Or hey, maybe the world beneath the waves is more your thing. Well, then you'd be looking at ichthyology, the study of fish.
Okay, now for a branch that's a bit more fundamental, genetics. This is the science of heredity. The study of how traits get passed down. It's the very code that makes you who you are, and it's a field that cuts across pretty much all those other branches, connecting everything together.
And biology isn't always about studying a single organism in isolation. That's where ecology comes in.
It's the branch that looks at the big picture, how all these living things interact with each other and with their non-living environment. We're talking everything from a single backyard pond to the entire planet. The main takeaway here, there's a branch of biology for literally every aspect of life you can imagine.
All right, so let's talk about putting biology to work. I mean, all this theory is fascinating, but so what? How does all this knowledge actually help us in the real world? This is where applied biology comes in.
This really breaks it down nicely. When we understand plants and animals, we get agriculture, which is, how we feed the entire world. Or you can get super specific, like sericulture, which is all about raising silkworms to make silk. That's applied biology. Then you've got the really modern stuff. Biotechnology uses microorganisms as these tiny little factories. Genomics lets us read an organism's entire DNA instruction manual. And bioengineering? We're talking about creating artificial limbs and other body parts. This is biology in action, for sure.
Okay, final section, why biology matters. We've covered the what, the how, and the when, but now we get to the most important question of all. Why should you care? What does all this biology stuff really mean for our daily lives and for our future?
Well, it matters because it helps us stay healthy. When we understand diseases, we can fight them. It helps us feed a growing population by creating better, stronger crops and livestock. It gives us the tools and the knowledge we need to conserve our planet's precious natural resources for the future. And maybe, just maybe, the most important thing is that it makes us more conscious citizens, more aware of our impact and our role on this amazing, living planet.
And believe me, this story is far from over. In fact, this is where things get truly mind-bending. Scientists are now moving beyond just studying life. They are right on the verge of actually creating it from scratch. We're talking about building a simple, single-celled bacterium from completely lifeless materials.
And that leaves us with a really profound final thought to chew on. For all of human history, biology has been the science of understanding life. But we are now entering an age where it could become the science of creating it. So as all this incredible knowledge turns into incredible power, the biggest question we have to ask ourselves is, what are we going to do with it?